Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, y'all. Welcome back to the OS Rick Project, episode 42, the only podcast that promises to be optimized on day one. Guys, sorry, y'all. Welcome to the episode. Welcome to the show. I hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful week. What you've been up to, what you've been doing, what games you've been playing, what shows have y'all been watching. Let me see. For me, a pretty good week. No, not too bad. We're recording this episode on a Wednesday night. Uh, Everything's been going good so far at work, gaming. A lot of Guilty Gear still on that one. I played last night. Man, I was getting crushed. Like all the killers were out there, and I ended up. I was playing Friday night, and I remember ending up at floor 9. So when I got back into it last night, I mean, the killers were just out there. They just knocked me down. But I learned that with fighting games is that there's sometimes you're gonna get on there, you're gonna get whooped. That's it. You gotta hold that, learn, get better. Don't get frustrated. Don't quit. Don't look for excuses for why you lost. Just learn from your mistakes. A lot of people don't understand that looking back at your reviews, not reviews, but your um, looking at your videos, don't look at your wins. Look at your losses. Look at what you did wrong and get better at it. And I did that a couple of times. Just look at my, go over my videos and see like what I messed up. I didn't optimize this. But I've been having a blast. I've been enjoying it. I'm still having so much fun. And I even like I'm at work and I'm like just like theory crafting combos. Like, how would this work if I can extend it with after I do the red cancel? Maybe I could go with a kick to go even farther into a 2-3-6 slash and trying out other stuff. But I've been playing Guilty Gear, and I've also been playing Resident Evil 2 remake. I first got the game when it came out on the PlayStation 2, but I played very little of it. I don't know why. I guess it was just I don't know. I just for some reason it didn't click with me back then when I first got it. I got it again back during the winter sale or autumn sale on Steam, and I remember picking up that one, RE2, RE3, and Devil May Cry at like less than $9 a piece. So I finally got around to playing Resident Evil 2, and man, I don't know why I didn't stick with it. Maybe because I'm streaming it now, but I've been having a really fun time with that game. It's really good. I know I'm late to the party, guys, on this one, but I'm almost done with Leon A, and then I'm gonna have to go back and do Claire A, and then after that, I'm gonna start a new game with Claire B, and then go with Leon B. I think you guys understand what I'm talking about because you play the game as Leon and then it's Claire, and you can play as Claire and then Leon. But when you depending on who you start, it has different little things are located in different parts of the map, depending on how you start your I want to say campaign your playthrough. So I'm gonna make sure to go back with Claire after this, and then I have Resident Evil 3 because I want to prepare for Resident Evil 4 remake that's coming out in March. So I want to get into the mindset of just playing these games because that's what I did with right before the launch of Resident Evil 8 Village. I played 7 and it got me just ready for the games. But 7, I mean, Resident Evil 2, man, it's just one of my buddies on chat's like, man, this game doesn't have enough power. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? This game is really good. When Mr. X gonna give it to you, when he starts showing up, like he puts you on the clock. You think you're safe, you're not. And then you explore like certain parts of the police station. So you're like, okay, I already cleared it out. I left a zombie alive. He's okay. It's fine. Look out for this guy. It's fine. But then after a while, the game would change it up. They'll respawn new zombies, or they'll put a licker in there, and oh my god, you can't become complacent in that game because the second you do, they will throw you a curveball and scare the crap out of you. And I've been having a good time with it. The puzzles they haven't been frustrating enough where I had to stop what I'm doing and look it up. Eventually, if you just stop and look around, you'll get the the clues for what you need. So I've been having a lot of fun with that one. I've been enjoying it, and I'm glad I picked it up when I did at that price point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure even when it came out, people were having less. It's just now with. I remember when Resident Evil 3 came out, it was kind of. I know it's not as good as the Resident Evil 2 remake. So I'm excited to play it. Even though I remember playing Nemesis Resident Evil 3 when I was younger and enjoying it. So we'll see how it feels like when I go back. And you know what? Maybe it being slightly shortened, maybe I won't mind. But anyways, so I've been playing that Resident Evil and Guilty Gear. I've also been experimenting. So guys, I'm recording this episode. I'm recording it on my second PC. I've been setting this one up so I could do a lot of streaming in the garage. I plan on bringing that back. I want to start a return to Friday Night Fights, especially with Street Fighter 6 around the corner. I want to start doing offline events. I'm gonna try to get my friends to come over either on a Friday night or Saturday night at least once a month, and I want to start recording it and just making more content and just doing that. But I figured the best way to do it was to get a PC out there and set up. And I know it sounds ridiculous. You bought a whole PC for that. Well, the first PC I got, I enjoy very much, but I had my friend Ruben put it together for me, so I didn't really get to see how it was put together. So this other PC, the current one, I'm going to call it the AMD. It's a lot more modest compared to the one I purchased and had assembled. This one, I did a lot more research. It wasn't just off the seat of my pants. I looked up things. I researched things. What size power supply I should get. What's the best side of how much RAM should I use? Whether it should be 8, 16, or 32. I went with 32. I wanted a GPU that wasn't going to crap out on me, but I wanted something that could handle fighting games, and fighting games for the most part are pretty lax on the requirements. So just something that was a good starting entry point, but a little bit better than just on the low end side. I didn't want to start off with a 1060 or 1660, and this time I wanted to go with an all AMD build. So I have an AMD CPU and GPU, but anyways, I wanted to get this PC, and this whole week I've been doing my gaming, my streaming. I'm doing this podcast on it just so I could, just really push it to the level and see, if I could, just get the settings just right to how I want it by tinkering here and there. And what I've noticed is, I don't know why AMD gets a bad rep. Yeah, some of their drivers, they're kind of late to the party sometimes with some of their driver updates. I think it was like 2 months before they did anything with their 6000 series. But the software, being able to go in there and adjust your fan curve, you could have it automatically auto overclock or undervolts, or all these different settings. I really like that a lot, and it kind of reminds me. It's almost like a comparison of using Slobs, Streamlabs OBS, and OBS. Streamlabs has a lot of stuff that's nice and cool and streamlined. Well, not streamlined, but they have a lot of cool stuff and features and bells and whistles. But OBS is just very simple, easy. You're gonna have to learn how to do some things, but once you do it, you can navigate through it, and that's how I feel with AMD. It's just they give you the software that you need. You could go in there, adjust it to how you want it, and I've been having a blast. So right now, if I ever go into making another PC for some odd reason, or if anybody has, wants my opinion on how I feel between AMD and NVIDIA, AMD, I mean, I would recommend it depending on what your budget and what you're looking for. If you just want something very minimal, and you don't need to have DLSS, or you don't want ray tracing, you just want something that works, I like AMD. I mean, there is some issues there. It's not perfect, but that goes both for NVIDIA and AMD. So I've been trying to get this PC up and running. So I'm doing all my recordings and my gamings on it and streaming on it. So we'll see how that goes. So some things I am lacking that I miss from my main PC, but it's fine for the most part. What else can we talk about, guys? What else have I been playing? Oh, a little bit of Elden Ring. Oh, I was going to tell you guys. So I've been using this PC, and I wanted to test out. All right, let's see how it handles when I'm using my capture card. So on my other computer, I'm using an Elgato HD60X capture card. It's one of the latest ones. It's an external one, but it's meant, it's targeted for the current gen consoles and stuff. But the minimum requirement is you gotta have, I forgot what you need for the Intel side, but on the Ryzen side, uh, you need a minimum of a Ryzen 7, and this PC, the AMD one, has an Ryzen 5. So I was like, you know what? Even though I'm below the minimum requirements, let me see what happens. Let me test it out, right? So I tested it out, and I was able to get video, and the sound came through, but there was some crackling sounds coming through. I was like, man, okay. So I tried it out on Elden Ring on PlayStation 5, and then Final Fantasy 7 on the PlayStation 5. And no, the audio came through. I mean, kept crackling. I was like, well, okay, let me try. Let me try it uh, on the Switch. And sure enough, there was. It wasn't all the time, but when it gets to the rumbles, the very bassy parts, and or some of the loud parts, you could hear that crackling coming through. And I was streaming it, and even some of my chat was able to pick up on it too. So, and when it comes to me, I want to sound as clear as possible. I want my game to be heard, but not overbearing. I still want to be the main focus piece when it comes to when you're listening to something. I want my voice to be clear. So and I want it just to be sound solid, right? So I had to go in there and change it. I grabbed my other older capture card, change that up, and it's been running better. But I have to do some more extensive testing, guys. So be on the lookout for that. What else, guys? I know I'm kind of just rambling here. I'm just kind of just like I said, it's like my journal and everything. Just blab about whatever was going on about my week and stuff. But yeah, I've been working a lot with this computer, and it's been fun. It's also become like a hobby. Not PC building, but just researching what's going on, the prices of GPUs, new CPUs coming out, what software to be looking out for, and stuff like that. Another thing I'm researching is another audio interface for this PC once I put it in the garage, because on my main setup I'm using a Zoom Live Track L8, which I enjoy, but since it's just me by myself, I don't have other people to do. I mean, every once in a while I might have a guest, but it feels like I have all this extra space, all these extra features that I'm not using. So I want to get something that's more minimal, that that isn't taking up so much space, because I like my desk and it's a good size. But if I can start reducing and clearing up some space, that's what I want to focus on. But again, that's later on down the road. So that's pretty much my week in a nutshell. Work's been good. Gaming. I haven't been watching much. I didn't watch any Trigun this week. I haven't watched any animes this week. So I gotta go catch up on some stuff. Although my wife did recommend a anime that was recommended by one of her coworkers called Kaiju 8. So I want to look into that first manga. She borrowed a copy from her coworker. So I might be checking that out soon. Kaiju 8, guys, if you're interested. Let's start off with the news, guys. Y'all know me. I love fighting games. Street Fighter is, of course, number one on my spot. So this weekend, we had the Capcom Cup number 9. It was the final Street Fighter 5 event. It ended, and it was taken by Mr. Mena RD using Birdie and Luke. I'll be 100 with you guys. I didn't watch any of it. I know it sucks. I say I'm a fan, right? But I didn't watch any of it. But because they had like a whole thing going on they had stuff going on all week, which, if I didn't have anything to do, if I was on vacation and I just had time to just, sit in front of the TV, sit in front of the computer and just watch streams all day, I probably would have just left it on and watched in the background and stuff. But I didn't watch any of it. But at this point, I'm just kind of ready for Street Fighter 5 to go away. Although I have watched Capcom Cups before in the past, but this one I was like, okay, it's if I don't see it, if I don't watch it, that's fine. But all of the announcements, or some of the announcements that came after the event, they even said during a week before the whole week kicked off, they said they were going to have no Street Fighter 6 news. I'm like, this feels like you easily could have shoehorned in, like a Cammy trailer or another. I mean, even though we know Cammy's gonna be there, and we've seen leaks, we know who's all gonna be there already. They could have just slipped in another character reveal trailer. I mean, just throw something out there for the fans. But that's just me personally. They didn't. I mean, hell, they did it with the Alex trailer back in the NorCal regionals when Street Fighter V launched. So we're okay with not getting trailers every once in a while. But they said that the next Capcom Cup, don't Capcom Cup X10, next year's event will be all Street Fighter 6. It will have a prize pool total of $2 million, 1 million going for first place. So this is the time. Okay, and before any of y'all who are listening rolls y'all's eyes and say, esports has bigger, shut up. Okay, I know esports, they have a bigger audience, they have a bigger viewership, they have bigger production. I get it. But for a fighting game to have this kind of a pot bonus, a prize pool for their flagship world tour, or game tour, or what, I guess world tour, or for that, I think that's impressive, especially for a fighting game. That's great. And this is the one to do it. Capcom has they this is the one to do it for, because Street Fighter 6, this is going to be the first year of launch. You want to get as many eyeballs on there and people playing and talking about it. So this is a good move for Capcom, in my opinion. In my heart of hearts, I have not played the beta, but I already know that this is going to have a better launch than Street Fighter 5. It's in a way better spot. Everything's going to I mean, I think they've learned from all their mistakes. They got new people. They have new developers or new leads on the game. Mr. Yoshinori Ono is out. They got the new guys. I wish I write down their names, guys. I'm sorry, but these guys are now at the helm of the project, and I really know, I really know and believe that they're gonna go with this game. It's gonna have just a way better life cycle, and just it's just gonna be better. I know it. I feel it already. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I just want to get up. I say I want to get my hands on the game, but I kind of like not yet. I'm fine with it coming in June, because I still have lots to do. I need to still prepare and get all my, my whatever. It doesn't matter. The streaming room. I want to get it ready. That's all. Because this is gonna be the return to offline events for me. I want to bring back Friday Night Fights. If you guys remember that. So Street Fighter 6 that's going to be my return, is Street Fighter 6, and like I said, at this point, Street Fighter 5, I've enjoyed it. I played a lot of Nakali. He was, as much as boring as a lot of people say he was, I really enjoyed his character model. I wish they could have done a little bit more to keep him in the game. He's one of the newer characters. He just kind of got left behind. But at the end of the day, Street Fighter 5, for what it was, for all the ups and downs that it had and that I had with it, it's still gonna have a spot in my heart, because it really did. I met a lot of new people. It opened my eyes up to the whole, the FGC, and just I really, this is the Street Fighter I invested the most time in. And I mean, I played it both on PlayStation 4 at launch. I had my lulls, and I kind of left for a little bit, and then I came back and kind of had a renaissance period when I came back with it during on PC. So, I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, the netcode was bad. You know what? As I don't want to sound like a Street Fighter 5 defender, but the netcode, for what it was still a lot better than a lot of other games. It wasn't the best, but you'd still get some crappy matches here and there. But for the most part, if you did your part to make sure to have a solid connection, you'd come across other solid connections. And it's the people who like QQ about it are probably the ones that just never put in the work. I mean, that's just honest. So I'm excited. Street Fighter 6, Capcom Pro Tour. This also gives me a reason to get back into the Capcom Pro Tour and start following it. When they did it with the online events, it just wasn't as fun. I mean, I did watch some here and there, but nothing to me, some of the spectacle and appeal is just watching, the players head to head and seeing their reactions after a match, and see the people, see the pop offs, and reactions, and people just, the crowd going nuts, and seeing the commentary, and actually I mean, it just doesn't beat an offline event. So I'm excited for that. Good luck with next year's Street Fighter. I'm excited. Um, Continuing on with more fighting game news, we had the Evo 2023 lineup revealed yesterday. Some of my folks, my boys Viet and Dugio, posted up some of the streams on the Discord. What's up, boys? So I didn't watch it because, I started watching it, and what they did, they were going to announce 8 games, and they took 45 minutes. Look, guys, Daddy has lots of things to do. Okay, I got to get my exercise in. I got to get my streaming in. I got to get my stuff ready for tomorrow. I got to, make sure I get enough sleep. So I didn't watch the 45-minute presentation. I kind of did the whole TLDR, just asked around, looked around, and got the information on what they were doing. So for 2023, the lineup, we're going to have Street Fighter 6, of course. That's going to be fun to watch because the game will be releasing in June. The tournament will be, I think it's going to be in August, I believe, guys. I gotta look it up. I think it's like the first weekend in August. So we're gonna have maybe just under 2 months with the game. So the meta is gonna be all over the place. It's gonna be exciting. I can't wait. And with the launch of a new fighting game, it's always fun to watch tier lists from different people and from different regions. And it's because it's going to vary from person for person, obviously, right? But then you have, metas from different locations. You're going to have the East Coast metas. You're going to have the West Coast tier list. You're going to have the Gulf Coast, the Midwest. And then you're going to have Latin America. You're going to have Europe and the Japanese. And it's going to be fun. I can't wait, because that's something I did notice when they had some events like in Europe, or in the Middle East. They would play the characters that you really didn't think that weren't really played much, here on stateside or in overseas in Japan. So just getting to see how, what the meta shakes out to be for different regions, that's going to be fun. I can't wait. So the game's going to be 2 months old, and we'll be playing Street Fighter 6 for Evo. So Street Fighter 6, that's gonna be a fun one to watch. It's gonna be volatile. We're gonna see. It's gonna be. It's gonna be who took advantage of the crack beta the most, right? And the crack beta, guys. If y'all don't know, so Capcom put out a beta for Street Fighter 6, and some people were able to find a way to keep it going even after they brought it down. So even though they're playing a beta build, they still at least get access to the game, and it won't be one for one for the game's release, but you can at least get familiar with the mechanics at the time, and maybe some of that might translate over. We'll see. So we have Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear Strive, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Tekken 7, King of Fighters 15, Multi Blood, Type Lumina. All of those seem to be safe bets, right? Mortal Kombat 11 is making a return. I did not expect Mortal Kombat 11 to return, guys. I did not. I really believed that after the 2-year life cycle of how NRS, Nether Realm Studios does their games, that they were just going to stop it, not support it anymore. And you even saw it on Twitter, some people saying, all right, well, I'm done with this game. They're not getting any more support, but apparently it's enough that they wanted to bring it back for Evo 2023, which surprised to me. I'm not going to watch it. I'll be 100 with you guys. Mortal Kombat 11 is not my type of game. I'm not a fan of the aesthetics, the play style. I don't follow it, but the people that do, good for them. And they're bringing back Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3. That is coming back. I did not expect to see that one ever again, at least not on the main stage for Evo again. And this one, even though I didn't play UMBC 3, I have several friends that are still playing, who still love the game, who are still supported, and I even still hear, people talking about, how I mean, tournaments. I mean, Tampa never sleeps. They still have events going on playing Marvel. It's still very much a big game, and that one, I am glad to see. I am happy to see that community is having a spotlight at Evo for this year, even if it's just for a Friday only event or 2 day event. I don't care. I mean, the fact that it's there, I know my boy Johnny is excited. Every time I get on Steam, I see him playing. So that's good for the UMBC 3 crowd. I'm glad that y'all's game was able to return. That's pretty cool. And of course, I'm sure they're gonna have anime Evo and stuff. Oh, and like I said, guys, the predictions that I had, no Skullgirls, no DNF Duel, no Grand Blue Fantasy versus. That was kind of a long shot for me. I'd say I would suspect that if Rise Grand Blue Fantasy Rising, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, that's a mouthful, guys. If that would have came out before Evo, I'm sure it would have been in there, but I didn't think it would be, and I still don't believe it'll be out before. If we see that game, it might be like in the fall season, but that's fine. That's fine. It's not there. Take their time with that game. So yeah, Evo 2023 lineup. I'm excited. I've talked to some of my friends. They said they're already booking hotels to go, and I'm kind of. I've been thinking about doing something like that, guys. Especially after that conversation I had with my friend Shane, where he's like, just circle a date, reserve the hotels, and go, and commit, and just go. I was like, man, I mean, that does sound like fun. Going to Evo with your friends and just to go play fighting games. I mean, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I know some people probably you're just going to go somewhere to play video games, but I don't know, man. There's something to. I remember going to Texas Showdown, and there's just like energy in the air when everybody's just is there for the same thing. When I went to some of the locals when they used to have some stuff for Space City Beatdown at Molly's Pub over here in Houston, or when I went to Texas Showdown at one time. There's something about being in a room full of everybody that has the same hobby. It's wonderful, But imagine being in a big old convention in one of the biggest fighting game tournaments. I don't know. It gives me these ideas of wanting to go. So we'll see. I'll just have to plan it out with work and my days and my holidays. It just becomes a hassle. But we'll see, guys. Let's talk about. Let's. I'm gonna go be bouncing around, guys. Oh, I'm gonna be bouncing around because that's how I take my notes. But still onto the whole fighting game news. Street Fighter Duel, the mobile game that they've been talking about forever, that's been out like in China for the longest and is now getting a release date, February 28th. Who's gonna play it? Are you guys excited for it? I don't. I'm like the worst person to comment on this because I am anti-mobile gaming. Okay, when I mean mobile gaming, I mean gaming like on your mobile, not like on Nintendo Switch, portable gaming like that. Like handheld stuff, like on your Steam Deck, your Switch. I'm totally fine with that. It's stuff when it comes to the mobile. I am not a fan of it because you probably know what's going to consist of battle passes, maybe some microtransactions, loot boxes. Even though it feels like the industry is shying away from loot boxes and investing more onto season passes, and we'll talk about that in a minute, guys. But yeah, Street Fighter Duel, they showed some gameplay of it. It showed like a team of 3 characters standing side by side versus another team of 3 characters standing side by side, and you enter your. I don't know. I'm the worst person to comment on this because I'm not a fan. So if you want to play that, tell me how it is. I probably won't be listening. And then we have Street Fighter VR. What was that? You don't care either. You don't care. Oh, it's the dogs. Don't mind them, guys. Yeah, so it's like, who's gonna want to? Okay, the only thing I'd be interested in is Armika Super, right? Or taking the back throw from Cammy. But other than that, though, it's like VR fighting game. I mean, didn't they do that with one of the anniversary editions? And you get to hold the Joy Cons and you see the enemy and you get to like whip it around and throw Hadokens. And I mean, if I was if someone was if I was a head at Capcom and somebody was pitching me this idea, I'd be like, why don't you just work on the Street Fighter 6 team and just help them do whatever they need. Go get them a coffee or something. I just okay. Street Fighter VR coming out. If you guys are interested in it, I don't. We'll leave it at that. Okay, so that's for the fighting stuff. Okay, that's for the fighting stuff. Okay, let's go on to more of the video game stuff. Most the PC side of things, right? The personal computer, not the politically correct. I ain't trying to be that stuff. It looks like I was clicking around, looking on stuff on Reddit, guys, and me, I love to just look at the clickbait, and get outraged with my snowflakeliness, and then write about it. No. I do get outraged sometimes, depending on it. But if it looks outlandish, first of all, that's what the clickbait wants you to do, right? So, all right, let's look around, see what they're doing, let's see what they're talking about. NVIDIA to stop producing 4090s to force people to buy 4080s. So, that's not new for businesses. They've done that before. It's a practice that a lot of businesses do, where if something's not selling, they'll slow down on production to make sure everything else, the older stuff, gets purchased before putting out other stuff, which understandably so. But so I was looking at bestbuy.com here on the US side, and I was looking at prices, right? So the 4090 Founders Edition, I'm going for Founders Editions on both sides, okay, for both cards. It runs you about $1,600, okay. Now, in all honesty, you probably don't need a 4090. It's overkill, But there's always going to be someone who wants to have the latest and greatest, and this is, for some odd reason, is going to want to get it, and they're going to spend that much money. That's fine. And then we have the 4080 Founders Edition. Oh, by the way, the 4090 though has 24 gigabytes of memory. So I mean, you have a lot of things you could turn on, a lot of features that you could turn on. The 4080 has 16 gigs, which is still a lot, but you figured at the price point of $1,200, should get a little bit more. At the performance to value, yeah, the 4090 will be just a better. If you had to choose, honestly, if you had to choose, I mean, you could make for $1,600, you could have a whole new setup with monitors, keyboard, and everything. It just, when it comes to the pricing for these GPUs, and I think this generation of the 40 series, I think I'm going to be very cautious of Nvidia this time around. I was in for the 30 series, but the 40 series, and I just can't justify the price for what you're getting. It's very steep. It's very steep, guys. So Nvidia, I know a lot of people are fans of it. It's the honestly the best selling, the most selling, top selling, or mostly used GPUs. If you look at Steam and look at the database of what everybody's using, you're gonna see Nvidia down the board. You might see, here and there a few AMDs. I don't know anybody rocking an Intel Arc. They still have to get the bugs worked out, even though they had some patches to lift the performance on that. But I think they still need work on the Arc, so just be wary of it. But Nvidia, they know they have good stuff on their hands, and I think they are just getting away with raising their prices, especially since now that mining isn't as popular. There's still demand for it. And I think they're able to just control that and just do what they want. Of course, guys, the best way to do it is just, I said it 100,000 times already. Just speak with your wallet, man. And there's other options. You just got to look around, And I do have an Nvidia. I have a 3090 Founders Edition. I enjoyed it. I probably shouldn't have. I probably bought it at the worst time. Not the worst time, but not the best time. Okay, but I still have it for what I tend to use it. It's gonna last me a long time. That card is F word. It's future proofed for a good while. Mind you, guys, I do all my gaming in 1080p. Okay, so I know I'm not pushing the card for its. I'm not utilizing it in the most way right now, but I'm very confident that that card's gonna last me a good while, at least a whole freaking console generation. Okay. So yeah, Nvidia, you know, they got some stuff on. They got some good stuff, and they're able to do it. So I mean, just look out, guys. I mean, there's options when it comes to building your GPU. I think it's a fun hobby, especially if you're into the if you want to get into making a PC. I really feel like you should do your research and do it yourself. I think it'll be the best way because I'm a firm believer of you should be able to know what's in your computer, the components, and able to work around it and research it and know what's what. So, yeah. Returnal. Apparently, it seems to not be having the best sales as for PC ports from Sony. Um, I played the game on the console. I enjoyed my time with it. It wasn't. I didn't really. I liked it enough to play it a couple times, but it didn't stick with me. And it's not that it's a bad game. It's not. It's just it just wasn't something I just didn't care for. The weapons just weren't fun. Maybe maybe half of the weapons. You had a shotgun, pistol, rifle, and like a I want to say like a light machine gun, esque weapon, very, very high capacity. But the weapons, I did like the rifle and the pistol. Or did I? I don't remember. But I had a short time with it. I thought it was okay, but it didn't wow me. It wasn't enough for me to come back. Um, I like seeing these ports from Sony coming out to PlayStation, but this one I guess just didn't. I don't know. It was different like with God of War. I mean, that's a very big one. Marvel Spider-Man, that's another big one. Those were very those were very well received on the PC port side. I don't know how Days Gone performed on sales and Horizon Zero. I know some of them like Horizon Zero Dawn had some issues being released on PC side right at the gates, but I don't know about Returnal. Like I said, I played it on console and I thought it was fine, but it wasn't enough for me to say, man, I want to pick this game up again and play it on the PC. And mind you, guys, I have done that before. I have played some games that I really enjoyed. Elden Ring, where I bought it on PC. I love the game so much, I bought it again on PlayStation. Okay, so I mean, I have. I mean, if you love your game and you want to support it, that's great. But for me, Returnal just wasn't it. It wasn't one for me to say, "Oh man, it's coming on PC now. I got to get it now." I think what the platform that it was on PlayStation was fine. Now, if you don't have an access to a PlayStation 5 and you still want to play it, I'm glad that you could play it on PC. But it turns out it just hasn't had the best launch. And that's not to say it's a terrible game. It just isn't selling well right now. Maybe somewhere down the road, if it goes on discount or something, people pick it up and play it more. Wild Hearts has launched and is buggy on PC. That's a Koei Tecmo EA game. It's basically like a Monster Hunter. It's a Koei Tecmo slash EA version of Monster Hunter. I haven't seen any of the gameplay. I did look at some reviews, but from what I've seen around, it looks like some people say it's a fun game. I don't know if they're shilling out for it, and some people have said it's just an average. It's an okay game. I'm playing Monster Hunter, and I'm not like the biggest fan of the series, but I have been enjoying Monster Hunter Rise. I haven't played it in the last couple of weeks only because I've been playing fighting games. But Monster Hunter Rise, I'm enjoying it. It's a lot more streamlined than Monster Hunter World, from what I've been hearing. I played very little of Monster Hunter World, and I don't even remember it, to tell you the truth. But I know a lot of people who are big on, big on, big with. See if I have the podcast, guys, to help me slow down and slow my words and think about what I'm going to say. People that I know who are big on Monster Hunter World prefer that one over Rise, depending on the mechanics and stuff like that. And you know what? That's going to be subjective. That's going to be onto them. So, Wild Hearts, I'm curious on what's like, who's their target? Like, who they want to bring in? Do they want to bring people from the Monster Hunter franchise into that game or something? But let me know, guys, if you're playing it, because I want y'all's opinions firsthand on how you feel about it. I did see a quote on there. I forgot where I read it from, but I was looking around and they said the price is higher than the FPS. So apparently it's kind of buggy on launch on the PC side, which got me thinking. Is this is serious, guys, when I'm lining up and looking at the camera, right? You know how many times have we heard PC master race, right? Best way to play a game is on the PC. You have all the options, all these features. You could turn on ray tracing, turn it off, change the graphics. What kind of aliasing do you want? Volumetric lighting, blah, blah, blah. So many options, right? So many options. But, when you boil it down and you think about it, when some of these games, especially like the games coming out recently right now for the current gen, it seems like the trend is it is running relatively well on the PlayStation 5, but on the PC side, it isn't optimized at launch. Maybe within a week, they'll send out some patches, update some drivers, via Nvidia or AMD. But it feels like that line, PC Master Race, maybe it should be PlayStation Master Race. Yeah, you don't have access to some of the fancy ray tracing, but PlayStation, Sony has been updating where you get VRR, variable refresh rates. They're working on some of that stuff. You're playing on your TV, so maybe you don't have to be on a desk. It's starting to sound like the PlayStation might be, that gap between, and I said it before, like the gap between current gen and PCs is really close. It's really close now. Maybe we should stop looking at that gap and just start looking at the games and how they come out. It's not about that gap anymore, guys. I think now it's about the games and how they're coming out. Because it feels like maybe, just maybe, having the PlayStation 5 might be a solid platform. Think about it, guys. Just think about it. I mean, yeah, you could do so much. You can do so much more with the computer, right? Besides just gaming, you could do so much work, content creating, editing. You work on your videos, your music. I mean, of course. I mean, we all know the joys of having. I mean, I do a lot of my content creating on a freaking PC, on my PCs, right? But there's something about when it comes to gaming where you just hit the button, you download it, you play it, and it's ready to roll. There's something about that just makes it just that frictionless. And I've said that 100 times, guys. You want your things to be frictionless. You get in there, you start playing, and it's fun. Now, are there some games out there that even on the PlayStation 5 sides, when they get released, they're not optimized? Yeah. But it just feels now the trend is heading in that direction where maybe the PlayStation is edging out. Just maybe. I want to hear your thoughts on that, guys, because I talked to one of my coworkers, my boy Ashton. What's up, Ashton? And I talked to him about it this morning, and he tends to agree. It feels like things on PlayStation just seem to be coming out on a better spot. So, guys, let me know what y'all's opinions and how y'all feel about that, because For the longest, I was saying, I mean, the only reason you should have a PlayStation is for the exclusive. But it even seems now, exclusives or not, it looks like you just have a better launch experience on the PlayStation. Destiny 2 Lightfall will let you skip the campaign once you completed it the first time. You know, it kind of makes sense, right? You play as long as you play the game once. If you want to skip it for your, I mean, you main a Titan, but you want to, go again and level up your Warlock and your Hunter, but you don't want to go through all of that. You can pay to skip all that. And I don't know how to feel about that, guys. At least they, you have to play the game once to skip it. But it's like, isn't that the point of putting out games so people can play it? But then you look at the other side, right? They got 2 other characters. They want to bring them up there also and have fun with it. And they don't want to put in the work. I say that term loosely. They don't want to put in the grind for another X amount of hours that the however long the content's going to be. It's like, wow. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess okay with it because I don't play Destiny. So sound off, guys, which I think on stuff like that, because here comes the train, guys. There it goes. Sorry, I left the windows open. It's like, look, it's like 70 degrees outside, okay? I don't have the AC on. It's a nice chilly breeze. No, it's not chilly. It's nice cool. I mean, it's a time of year, right? Where look, down here in the Gulf Coast in Texas, February isn't that bad. So, anyways, you can skip. I just find that weird. Like you want. Okay, I say I find it weird, but if you think about it, that's the business, right? They just want, okay, well, they'll play the game once, then they'll pay us to, skip level up the characters. Microsoft has officially, okay, and this one, guys, take it with a grain of salt. I saw this late last night on Reddit, and then I looked on Twitter. So take it with a grain of salt, okay? My journalistic approach to this is just look what I saw, and I'm just gonna run with it and talk to you guys about it. So please look it up before you decide anything on it, all right? But I'm just gonna give you what I saw. My take, my hot take. I'm gonna do that, guys. I'm gonna have a hot take every week. Just talk about one thing and just go on a rant without knowing exactly what it is, right? That sounds like fun. And then just like listen to it like a year later and see how wrong I was about something. I'll do that every week, right? So Microsoft has officially signed a 10-year deal to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo with, quote, full features and content parity. And that was a tweet from Brad Smith. I was like, who the hell is Brad Smith? Vice chair and president of Microsoft. Okay, so this is on the heels of, I believe, what's his name from the CEO from Sony Americas, Jim Ryan, heading out to like Brussels or Europe so they could put like a freaking break on the whole merger, which I remember talking about this with Ruben back on his podcast like over a year ago already. This is still going on and for a while we thought it was going to be a sure thing, going to be locked up and ready to go. Apparently they're still hung up and still working out the details. So they are reaching deep to get it. Now, Sony, I don't know what you're complaining about. You have exclusives on your platform, so I don't know what you're talking about, or why you're like throwing a hissy fit. Microsoft, you made a deal with Nintendo for 10 years to have Call of Duty on there. So at this point, it got me thinking, what's Nintendo up to that they're going to have it playing on their consoles? Because the Switch has been out since February or March of 2017. Okay, so we're already hitting almost that 6 year mark with the Nintendo Switch. We've already seen the OLED version of the console come out. If, and I'm gonna look at this at a very optimistic view, if we're gonna see anything of a play of a Nintendo Pro version, um, it's gonna be has to be sometime this year, because if not, we're probably reaching the, and I'm gonna go on a limb here, guys. We're probably reaching the end of the Switch life cycle. Maybe a 2 more years, 3 more years. I don't know, because I mean, that's just me speculating. I'm just guessing, because eventually you can't be left too far in the dust with your competitors, right? Unless you just want to specifically fill that role of just being a handheld monster or something. So I don't know what they have in the works, if they're gonna bring, because Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch cloud version, maybe. I mean, that's a possibility, right? But cloud version Call of Duty, and then the multiplayer. Like, how is that gonna be functional, feasible? How's that gonna operate? Because them having this deal with them for the 10 years has me thinking maybe they will have Call of Duty on there for the Switch. They're going to try to make it work. It'll be like a hobbled version of it. But they even said full parity. So, and all the features, I don't know how that's going to work. So they have it a couple of years on the Switch. Maybe Nintendo has something up their sleeve. They're going to work on, maybe they are going to reveal the Switch Pro or another console. I don't know, guys. That got me very curious. But they said they signed a 10-year deal. So does that mean Microsoft is already rolling to get? They already have Activision Blizzard in under their fold, under their wings. Like, do they have it under the in house? They also said they had made a deal with GeForce, using their with Nvidia, using their a deal with Nvidia using their GeForce to bring their games onto their platform also, because I think Nvidia has the Nvidia Shield, and I think that's kind of like a streaming platform for Nvidia games. Look that up, guys. I'm not too sure on that part. I never used it. So they're making deals already, and I don't know how they're willing and dealing this without Activision Blizzard being finalized. Maybe there's something we don't know, or maybe they're just kind of just throwing the stuff out there to get people talking about it. We'll see. But yeah, coming out to Nintendo Switch, Call of Duty. And finally, guys, before we wrap it up for this episode, we have Elden Ring. They tweeted out they have 20 million tarnished. So I don't know if that means they have 20 million players. They have 20 million sales. But that's a lot in 1 year. And I think we're approaching next. What's today? I think this Friday will be the 1 year anniversary for the game. At this point now, guys, I'm waiting for the DLC. I just want some DLC news, whether they got something. I don't expect a release date anytime. I would like a release date soon, but if they just maybe on the year anniversary of the game's launch, maybe they say, hey guys, we are working on this DLC, plan on seeing it in summer, priced at so and so, it'll be taking place here. I mean, I would just, as a fan, I would like to hear some DLC news, because I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not a betting man, but I would bet that they're working on something, at least for content, for Elden Ring. I mean, as big as this game was, and there's still lots to explore and lots to do. I still play it every once in a while here and there, because I just love the game so much. But yeah, we're reaching on that 20 million tarnished. So I don't know if it means 20 million sold, shipped, whatever. When they say, like, a lot of companies will say X million copies shipped. It's like, so you pushed them out, but are they just still sitting on shelves, or did they actually purchase them? And of course, the translation thing, it might vary, so we'll see. But we know it was the game of 2022. Now we got to see what they do with it. Hopefully, we'll get some DLC content because me as a fan, I am excited and I would play it on both PC and the optimal PlayStation 5 Master Race. And I think with that, guys, we are done. I know I went a little bit over. I usually try to keep this stuff at like 45 minutes, but an extra 10 minutes, it's fine. That just means next week's show will be a little short, which it's fine. If anything, I'll just give a little TLDR of what I did the week before and just save it for the week before, for the week after that. Guys, I do want to get into trying something different with the podcast. I want to do at least one live episode a month because I'm not comfortable doing it, and I figured me doing it will make me comfortable. How do you get good at something? You keep doing it, right? Which is kind of odd since I stream the whole time, but I guess I feel like more vulnerable because I would be throwing out my opinions on something, and then I could just shut off chat, right? I don't have to listen to it. You guys listen to me on a live stream or something. Anyways, guys, if you guys want to support the show, you can always just retweet. Every time I go and do something on Twitter, you can share by word of mouth. You want to donate a couple of dollars to help out, that'd be great. I would appreciate it. Don't feel obligated. All I'm trying to do with this podcast, guys, is keep it self-sustained. I'm not trying to eat off of it. I'm not trying to run pay the bills with it. I just want to have it self-sustained. If you guys want to hang out at the stream, I'm stream 4 to 5 times a week, mostly fighting games, but every once in a while I'll do single player games and just have goof off and have a good time. All the information and Discord, guys. I'm very active in Discord. I have a little community. We're always bouncing off. I'm always bouncing podcast ideas, getting listening to people's opinions on different video games, what's going on, and we're always just having a good time there and goofing off and being silly. So Discord, Twitch, Twitter, you guys could just meet me there. I would really appreciate it. And all that good stuff is like sub, follow, and you know what it is, guys. All the algorithm things. But anyways, guys, have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves. Play some video games. Get some exercise. Get some fresh air. Go see your friends. Go create things, guys. This is the time to go create. If you just want to, record videos of you playing games and you want to load it on YouTube, do it. If you want to have little mini podcasts, you don't have to have fancy equipment, guys. You could just have a little your cell phone, upload it, a conversation between you and a friend, and just do it. The key is consistency, guys. Just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Yeah, you won't see any numbers at first, but you little by little you grow, and you grow with it, and you build a little community and just have a good time and put things out there, guys. Have a hobby. Get things to get your mind off of stuff and have a good time and relax and unwind. And don't forget the gaming and exercising and family time and all that good stuff. Anyways, guys, I love y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Have a good week. Have a good night. Don't stay up too late. Get some rest. I hope you have a wonderful day at work tomorrow. Wonderful day at school. And I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys. I love you.